Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. So we're gonna give people a chance to come in here first in a few minutes here. Hopefully, get here soon. I hope everybody had a good weekend. We do have a lot on tap for tonight. As RJ mentioned on his channel just prior to me coming on, of course, we will be talking a little bit about the Jason David Frank passing. That's of course not what we're going to lead off with, but we will be talking about that. Hey, Apex, how you doing, man? Thanks for popping in. Um, just giving people a chance to come in. So if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, hope you had a good weekend. Hope everything's going all right with you. Hope you're ready for Thanksgiving this week. So let's see. Uh, And if you can't, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more people in here. That'd be appreciated, just to help out a bit. Um, as I said, just waiting around for more people to show up. So what's on? So, yes, I'm at work. Just thought I'd drop by. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to stick around and listen because I have a few things. We'll have a few things to talk about tonight in the world of needs, of course, comics and celebrity and all that. So, um, just shared your. All right, thanks, man. That helps. Um, anyways, just. So I know crazy and call me lady. Anyways, let's see. All right. So, anyways, I'm just, as I said, just waiting around for people to come in. So, um, Apex, anything going on with you, man? Any new comics or anything like that coming out? Hmm. Hmm. Hong Kong Fooey, number one super guy. I'm currently reading Submariner, Golden Age. Great Bill Everett story. Yeah, Bill Everett. He also, of course, I don't know if you had a chance to come over and check out the Friday shows yet, but we'll be probably hitting one of his other creations pretty soon. Amazing Man, um, in the next probably couple months or so. So you might want to come check that out as well. Um, our Friday shows where I go over like the historical comic retrospect with a guest co-host and read through it, do the voices and all that. So a totally immersive experience for everybody is how I try to make it. So let's see now. So it looks like I do have at least one other person here. So I guess I'll get started a little early here since we do at least have one other person who's engaged here. So what is in fact on tap for tonight? Anyways, um, So what is, in fact, what's on tap for tonight here? So, um, what we do have on tap for tonight is gonna talk a little. We're gonna go over a little bit of an article from Critical Blast. RJ did an article about remembering both Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. We'll be looking at that article. Also, of course, as many of you have heard over the past couple of days, the passing of Jason David Frank from Power Rangers fame. He was, of course, he did the role of Tommy Oliver from the first few seasons as the Green and White Ranger. It's a bit tragic because, from what I've been told, anyways, it was apparently a suicide. And there's been many who've been mourning his passing from the get go here. So also what we have on what we also will be talking about as well is so apparently there's now a Japanese human rights lawyer who is calling out the makers of One Piece and the anime community as a whole, thinking that they should be taken should be taken an example from Disney. I want to film the recreation of the production of Human Torch versus Submariner with Horror Mike as director of this short film. Very interesting, true story. Okay, that sounds interesting. Let's see now. Let's see what else will. Of course, Vault Comics has some titles coming out. We'll be looking at that, and some Rick and Morty action and Rick and Morty news as well. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started? And you can see there, I know Apex. I know you've already said you've already liked and shared. So, but also, if anything that we talk about here grabs your attention, feel free to comment. And if or ask questions, I'll try to answer the questions as best I can. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started on? Let's get right to the first article then. Let's see. All right, so here we go. Remembering Stan Lee and Jack Kirby with authors Bob Batchelor and Glenn B. Fleming, submitted by R.J. Carter on Saturday there. So this is from Pet, and I know, and I believe he did a live stream on this as well. So there we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Two of the most seminal figures in comic book culture are in arguably, and yet very arguably, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Individually, each made their contributions to the pop culture medium, but together they forged the stuff of legends. Bob Batchelor has written two biographies on Stan Lee. Glenn B. Fleming has recently published and produced a book and DVD detailing his time spent with Jack Kirby. Yeah, and I know Glenn Fleming has talked about that before too. So that was kind of a cool thing. Critical Blast brings both these authors together to discuss their fascination with the topics of their work and the unique intersection that existed between them. And again, as I said, RJ does have did do a live stream on that. Oh, that was pretty quick. uh, and just earlier, of course, RJ also had a All right. Well, that went quickly. Wow. Didn't take too long. I would have thought that would have taken a little longer, but hey, whatever. Anyways, let's, I guess, move on to the next article then. Now, of course, I know Glenn has talked about and been on RJ's and a few other people's channels talking about, like an interview he did with Jack Kirby way back in the late 80s. That was pretty cool to see. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get ready to move on to the articles here, and then you see those. But before we get to the Jason David Frank article, of course, this is another one for my anime fans out there. For the anime fans out there, interesting little tidbit here. All right, so let's get into this. Japanese human rights lawyer accuses, in a smaller quote, One Piece film Red, unsmaller quote, of being, quote, anti-revolutionary, anti-feminist, and anti-democracy. Says Japan should take lessons from Disney. So this is one of their own. Now, granted, usually it's us in the West who bug the mangaka with this, but now this is coming from one of their own, apparently. You wonder though if this human rights attorney has even ever read a manga or anything like that. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published earlier today in the Anime and Censorship article here. So, Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates are sailing to new heights with One Piece film Red. Not everyone feels so sanguine about its continued success. Now, mind you, One Piece is probably considered is right up there with like Dragon Ball, but like Dragon Ball right now is one of the all-time favorite manga and animes from Shonen Jump and Toei Animation. Some good stuff here. So, anyways, let's continue on with the article here. Since the series began serializing in the pages of Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump in 1999, creator Eiichiro Oda has since day one depicted its world's numerous and various pirates, including the Straw Hats, as rebels against the world's oppressive authority. Welcome, which is true. I'm currently watching it now. For me, I'm currently in the Impel Down arc, which I believe is season 13. So I'm still well behind everything, but I'm working my way through it. It's like sometimes you don't want to get into watching some of these super long animes because they're going to take forever to watch. But once you do start watching them, they can hook you in, and One Piece definitely has that aspect to it. However, it seems that Japanese human rights lawyer Hajime Kambara missed the memo regarding arguably the themes of freedom in the world's most popular manga. As after taking his daughter to see the film on November 12th, he found himself appalled at what he perceived was a regressive story. Well, yeah, and I know, because as I said, I'm right now in the Impel Down. I'm watching the Impel Down arc of One Piece. I just got through watching the can't remember the name of the arc, but it's the arc where it's the one right before it where he meets Boa Hancock and the Kuja tribe. So I guess it's the Kuja tribe arc. And he even said in that for him becoming, and it might have been that or an even earlier arc, but basically for him becoming king of the pirates. Actually, it was an earlier arc. It was back on the back on the archipelago arc, in fact, because um, he actually made the statement in that the reason he wants what being king of the pirate, being the pirate king represents to him is actually freedom, not about oppressing others. It's about freedom, and we've seen that throughout. So that's why the pirates, particularly Luffy's crew, the Straw Hats, gets depicted, basically gets depicted as rebels. Since manga is a huge ruler in modern comics, America needs a pulp magazine resurgence. Yeah, that would be interesting, Apex, because I mean, I obviously when I'm doing my historical comic retrospect on Friday, even even before, obviously before the debut of Superman, pulps were pretty big, and they still remained pretty big even after the debut of Superman. Um, yeah, that would be a very interesting thing to see. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah, we read that part. Okay, quote: My daughter accompanied me to see the movie One Piece for the first time. Unquote. Kambara recounted on November 12th. Quote: which was filled with the right wing's favorite counter-revolutionary ideology. Ah, boy, this guy's a woke guy, isn't he? In small quote, if the people want peace, the opposite will happen. Unquote. Quote: the story is about a bunch of men who look like bodybuilders, and they just keep on violating. Oh my god! He added, I guess the author, Eiichiro Oda, is anti-feminism and anti-demo. Okay, if you've ever seen One Piece, that is total baloney. Okay, if you've ever seen One Piece, no, it is not anti-feminist. Okay, Nico, Robin, and Nami are pretty strong characters in their own right, and there are a number of other strong female characters, like the aforementioned Boa Hancock. Let's see, who else can I think of? Many of the Kuja tribe. You know, um, Kaya in her own way was very strong. You know, so this guy is just making his judgment on one film and not. I don't. This. I wonder if this guy again. I wonder if this guy has ever actually gone back and watched the any portion of the anime at all or read the manga, because he sounds pretty ignorant to it if that's the case. And the guys do not look like bodybuilders. Okay, if anything, they're all fit, but they're not like huge and muscular. Okay, um, Luffy is actually, some people would call. If anything, the characters tend to be more stringy than anything else. They're pretty fit. They're still fit. They're still fit, mind you. I think of the lot of them. I think, well, okay, Frankie's a cyborg. Okay, then you got Jimbei, who's the Fishman, and then of the other human characters, I think um, I would say that Zoro is probably considered the powerhouse of the group. He's the one who's probably got the most musculature, but he's a swordsman too. So it's not like the characters in One Piece are no Hulk Hogan or Scott Steiner. Okay. Ah. So this guy, I don't know where he even got that idea from. Let's see. Hey, Woody, thanks for popping in. I violated a parking regulation once. Hey, Woody. Alrighty then. Okay, so continuing on here. Quote, even though the beginning of the film depicts people suffering from the war, it does not show any resolution in the end. Well, Kambara then acknowledged, quote, if there is an ideology in this film, it is at best a chivalrous one, i.g., a gangster's ideology. Yeah, to a certain extent, you may have a point there. But of course, the war isn't over because, the war is a bit. I mean, there have been other animes too, like Full Metal Alchemist, where the war served as a backdrop to the setting of what's going on. You know, um, even in Yu Yu Hakusho, when you got to the last arc there, the Demon King arc or Demon World arc, there was a bit, now granted that wasn't a full out war, but it was basically you had three kings who are all of equal power and trying to keep the balance of power. So, quote, anti-revolutionary ideology and chivalry, anti-feminism, and anti-democracy, unquote. He described the film. Well, okay, chivalry is not a bad thing. As for if anything, it's the exact opposite. If anything, they are revolutionary. Anti-feminism, again, the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Anti-democracy. Quote, Japanese society is truly hopeless when it comes to the popularity of such anime, unquote. Yeah, but my take is this guy in Japanese society is in a very, very, very small minority. Extremely small minority. Because as I understand Japanese society, as I looked over anime and watched anime over the years, a lot of in some ways, terms of acceptance of people like who are homosexual and all that, they tend to be more accepting of that stuff than even here in America. So, but they also don't go as far as trying to shove it in your face either. Um, anyways, continuing on here. The lawyer then began to compare not just film Red, but the entirety of the anime medium to Disney's animated offerings, arguing that, quote, while Disney has many works that are suitable for children, but can be appreciated by adults, Japanese anime is really bad. I think again he's in the minority on that. Quote, this is probably because the values of the creators are stuck in the Showa era, 1926 to 1989, unquote. He said, quote, in the process of a country's decline, even at the level of ideology and values, there is a regression and corruption. This is not just a problem of anime, but a problem of the decline of Japanese society as a whole. Again, I think he's in the minority on that. I think that there are many Japanese people who would seem to disagree with him, considering just how popular anime is, not just in Japan, but even worldwide. If anything that might be causing "quote unquote" the downfall of Japanese society right now, it's not anime and manga. It's the fact that when it comes to reproduction, this generation has actually kind of put that on the back burner, and their birth rate has been going down to the point to where even the Japanese government have actually been asking and begging mangakas and anime creators to actually put more suggestive stuff into anime and manga so that people will be more Japanese, those who are in their 20s and 30s will be more let's say more, inclined to want to start families, start bringing kids in the world and replenishing their society before they die out. Let's see. Are you saying anything here? All right. Well, Code 666. Hello, Code. See, what's your favorite? I have no idea what an utu is. Let's see. Explain the Japanese schooling system starting from April to March. Well, I know it's a 10-month school year. They go with a 10-month school year, and I think it's year-round schooling. So they still do. I think they still take Christmas holiday off. I don't know if it's a couple weeks or a month, and then I think they take Golden Week off too. Golden Week is one of their big holidays that comes around in the spring. Let's see. What's your favorite? I have no idea. I have no idea on that one there. Anyways, and I do thank you guys for the. I do thank you guys for the. Alright, so, anyways. Alrighty then. Unsurprisingly, Kambara was met with an overwhelming wave of backlash from Japanese fans. I wonder why! As they felt that his opinion was both disingenuous and ignorant of the very spirit of One Piece. Which is kind of what I was saying too. I think I was in my commentary there. I think I was saying a lot of the same things there. Anyways, let's continue on with here. In turn, the lawyer returned to the topic the next day to push back. Quote, I get comments on this tweet that I should read the original manga, just watch the movie, but I'm giving my opinion of the movie, so why do I need to read the original story? Unquote. Because, well, the reason you need to read the original story, young man, is because you say that you're making your judgments on the movie, but in making your judgments, you're actually making judgments on the franchise as a whole. Your statements are more indicative of you're saying you're making your judgments based on the manga and anime and the story as a whole. Quote, if the original story and the movie are different, why don't people who like the original story protest the movie? Unquote. He further inquired. Well, first off, the movies are not necessarily canon to the original story to begin with. But also, now granted, even though they're not necessarily canon or not necessarily part of the continuity, the underlying themes and story are still there. I think I did hear about this. I think Yellow Flash may have reported on this too as well. Let's see now. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm gonna take a quick break here, just real quick. I'll be right back. Just gotta take care of something. But I will be right back here. And while I'm gone, I'll put some music on for you guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So here we go. Alrighty then. So let's get back to the article then. Quote, in the original story, there's a counter argument that pirates are anti-authority, unquote, Kambara acknowledged. Quote, but at least in this movie, the pirates and the Navy were pretty familiar with each other, unquote. Yeah, and if he had read the story and understood, there were obviously reasons why. Quote, Uda is the revolutionary in this movie, right? Unquote. Got it. Quote, Uda's revolution is destined to lose popular support because it is self-righteous. The pirate may be anti-authority, but shouldn't the film as a whole be understood as anti-revolution? Ultimately, Kambara closed out his complaint by taking issue with how all, quote, the pirates are macho anyway. And again, again, that's absolute baloney. Nami, Robin, Boa Hancock, and the Kuja tribe, to name a few. Quote, they all have bodies like bodybuilders. Again, not true. He complained. Quote, the master of the pirates, Uda's foster parent, is a man of a Showa era, quote unquote, or in parentheses, Ken Takakura type. Quote, it's a mystery why this kind of stereotypical macho male chauvinism. This guy's a real. This guy is a Japanese version of an SJW, isn't he? Showa era look is still popular, unquote. He concluded. Quote, after all, hasn't time stopped in Japan since sometime in the Showa period? One Piece film Red is now playing in select theaters. Editor's note: a previous version of this article featured a grammatically confusing headline. It has since been updated for clarity. Okay. Yeah, 'cause I thought this article was out before, but I read some of this before. But anyways, yeah, basically this human rights lawyer sounds like a very ignorant SJW who probably should take a little more time reading the manga and watching the anime a little bit more. I kind of wonder how his daughter like, what her reaction was. Was she following suit with her dad, or was her dad just telling her, "No, you need to say that the film is like this because I say so." All right. So, anyways, about to get to the next article here. Let me just take care of something here real quick. All right. So, anyways. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, we're about to hit the next article here about Jason David Frank of Power Rangers fame. So let's see what's going on here. Now, originally, I was going to do the one about when they talked about Amy Jo Johnson doing a tribute on CBR, but then this one popped up here. So, why don't we go ahead and take a look at this? Let's see. So, Power Rangers franchise star Jason David Frank tragically passes away at age 49. Article by Spencer McCooley, published earlier today. In a crushing blow for Sentai fans and children of the 90s everywhere, beloved Power Rangers franchise mainstay Jason David Frank has tragically passed away at the age of 49. Now, considering that Power Rangers started up about 30 years ago as well, so that would have made him about 19 then. Frank, who portrayed series anti-hero turned hero and mentor Tommy Oliver up through 2018's Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Wow, I didn't know he was with the show for that long. But then again, I stopped watching it myself after a while. But anyways, was first reported as having passed on November 19th, courtesy of whispers on social media. November 19th, which would have been this past Saturday. While many fans held out hope that this news was yet another typical internet hoax, and mind you, there were a few going on over the weekend too. It wasn't just that one. Let's see. I know that there was a Bruce Willis death hoax that went on over the weekend, and let's see, there was one other one too. Dolly Parton, I think. So there were a few of them over the weekend. So that probably, that's why people were hoping all hope that it was just another hoax. But anyway, it would unfortunately be confirmed by his manager, Justine Hunt, the very next day, which would have been yesterday, the 20th. In bracket there, we asked for, quote, privacy of his family and friends during this horrible time as we come to terms with the loss of such a wonderful human being, unquote, Hunt wrote in a statement provided to the Associated Press. Quote, he loved his family, friends, and fans very much. He will be truly missed. Yeah. Now RJ was telling me, I guess it was a suicide. So you kind of do have to kind of wonder what was troubling him so much they felt he needed to take his own life. I mean it's natural to be curious like that, but we should also just keep our keep his family and friends in our thoughts and prayers and all that. As of writing, Frank's official cause of death has not been confirmed. However, according to, quote, sources with direct knowledge, unquote, who reportedly spoke to TMZ, the actor's death was the result of an apparent suicide. So even though the scuttlebutt is suicide, it has not been confirmed yet. So it's speculative. It's suicide. But if that is the case, again, the next question is, well, what made him go that route? Anyways, Frank is survived by four children, three from his first marriage and one from his second. His second wife, Tammy, filed for divorce in August. Hmm. Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank made citizens of Angel Grove and Power Rangers 2017. I guess that was from the Power Rangers film. Born in Covina, California in 1973, Frank began his tokusatsu career with his very first role, being cast as a counterpart to Shojinki Metal There's Ryusei uh, Tsurugi, Adam Steele, in America's first attempt at localizing the series Cybertron. Though Frank would be cut from the series during its post-pilot retooling into VR Troopers, this temporary setback would open the door for him to land his career-defining role as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers resident bad boy Tommy Oliver. And there he is right there. All right. Cast as the standard, quote, evil variant of the series' eponymous team, Frank's original role as the Green Ranger was surprisingly only supposed to last for a total of 14 episodes, culminating with his exit from the series in the season 2 episode Green No More. However, much to both the producers and Frank's surprise, his brief performance as Tommy ended up immediately endearing the character to audiences. Now, let's see if anybody's popped in to say anything yet. Nope. All right. Hmm. As such, rather than waving him off into the green sunset, Frank was brought back in a more permanent capacity, with Tommy later being reintroduced to the series as the Tiger Zoid driving, saber wielding White Ranger. And there he is right there, is Tommy. From there, Frank's American Sentai career would see him take up the mantle of both the Zeo and Turbo Team's Red Ranger, as well as Dino Thunder's Black Ranger. So he went through a number of changes, didn't he? The late actor's most recent reprisal of the role, which now sadly also stands as his final overall, was in the Ninja Steel episode Dimensions in Danger, quote unquote, wherein he appears alongside a number of other past Rangers to assist the series' titular team in the fight against the villainous Draven and his evil army. Let's see. Following his tenure as a mainline Power Ranger cast member, Frank, already an accomplished practitioner of various styles, would continue to train in martial arts, quote, even developing his own hybrid style, Toso Kundo, in 2003. His passion would eventually lead him to explore a career in competitive MMA, where he would go on to secure an undefeated record across 5 amateur fights, 2010 winning 4 in the amateur circle and 1 in the professional. So it's 4-0 in amateur, 4-0 as an amateur, 1-0 as a professional. Though his acting career would be temporarily set to the back burner during this period, Frank would feature as Bloodshot in Valiant's Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe short film. It's interesting, because Bloodshot is the name of various comic book characters across many different companies. Hey, Woody, let's see. Hi, guys. I've been puttering around making dinner. Okay, well, thanks, Woody. Anyways, we shall continue on here. In 2020, Frank, along with prominent comic book fan film production company Bat in the Sun, launched a Kickstarter campaign for a live-action martial arts film titled Legend of the White Dragon. Set to feature the actor as the White Dragon, an original Toku hero based upon his past Power Rangers roles. The film was originally proposed as a miniseries, but was expanded in scope following an outpouring of fan support and interest in the project. Here he is as the White Dragon right here. The looks of it. As a result of this expansion, Legend of the White Dragon's release has been delayed to 2023. Upon its release, it will mark Frank's final role. Oh, that will be interesting. In light of the news of Frank's passing, tributes across the industry for the actor began to pour out on social media, most notably from his fellow Mighty Morphin co-stars. Yeah, that, and I know as I mentioned earlier, there was an article even on CBR where Amy Jo Johnson, but not just that as well. I do know also, as I was watching WrestleMania earlier today, they were even saying there were a number of wrestling fans who also paid tribute to him. Anyways, I'm sorry. Chloe's barking, so I gotta go check what's going on. But I will be right back. But while I'm gone, I'll put some music on for you guys, where it's not just dead air here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I see somebody comment. Let's see. WrestleMania was no what? No, not WrestleMania. WrestleLania. On WrestleLania, Woody. WrestleLania is they're basically a wrestling news channel. It's on YouTube. Excuse me again. All right, sounds like Chloe is at it again. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Anyways, um, yeah. So Woody WrestleLania is what I'm talking about. It's a YouTube channel. They do wrestling news and stuff like that. So you should know better than that, Woody. WrestleMania isn't until like late March, early April. So, yeah. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. Making reference to the 2001 auto accident death of Yellow Ranger actress Huey Trang, also was involved with one of the Crow movies, mind you. Black Ranger actor Walter Emmanuel Jones shared a picture of himself, Frank, and the fellow original Rangers, um, Austin St. John, Red, and David Yost, Blue, at the 2017 premiere of Lionsgate Cinematic franchise reboot alongside the caption, um, quote, can't believe it, R.I.P. Jason David Frank. My heart is sad have lost another member of our special family. The, let's see. Yeah, so there they are right there, the guys. Quote, um, quote, Jace, you were beautiful and truly unique. My life just won't be the same without your frenetic, hilarious, caring, driven, and creative ball of energy, unquote, wrote Pink Ranger actress Amy Jo Johnson. Quote, I will always love you, dear friend. Please rest now in peace, unquote. Now, Amy Jo Johnson, of course, is the Pink Ranger on the original Power Rangers, although she was the on-screen love interest for Frank. And there they are right there in the picture. Um, let's see, quote, once a Ranger, always a Ranger, said St. John. There they are right there, and I think David Yost in the middle there. Reaching out from Japan, Frank Super Sentai Analog, Kyoru Sentai Zuriranger, Dragon Ranger actor Shiro Izumi eulogized, quote, sad news has arrived today. I heard that Jason David Frank, who was the Dragon Ranger in the Power Rangers, passed away. Dragon Ranger is probably, maybe that's a Japanese version of the character. Quote, I'm shocked by the news of Americans like my siblings. Um, he added, quote, everyone please continue to support Dragon Ranger forever and always a Dragon Ranger. Rest in peace, Jason. May the power protect you. There we go with that one. Alrighty then. So let's see. Um, as we shall continue on here. Let's see now. So now let's get to some more articles here. I think I'll do the since we're kind of doing the TV stuff first here. I think I'll um, do the Rick and Morty article first, and then finish off with the comics article. All right. So why Rick and Morty stay out of the multiverse in season 6? Rick and Morty. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we actually do that, how insensitive of me. Sorry about that, folks. Before we do that, um, why don't we go ahead and just take a moment of silence to remember Jason David Frank, who passed away over the weekend at the age of 49. Um, yeah, sometimes you get so into like wrapping up what you're doing, you forget some of these subtle little things that should obviously be part of it. So, anyways, we're gonna give a moment of silence for Jason David Frank and just hope everybody keeps their thoughts and prayers with family and friends and everybody involved. All right. With that being said, now let's get back to the material here. Um, but with that, let's get back to the article then. Or get moving on to the next news story here. All right. So, right, why Rick and Morty stay out of the multiverse in season 6? Rick and Morty showrunner Scott Martyr um, explains why the adult animated sci-fi sitcoms sixth season steers clear of stories involving the multiverse. Article by Leland Miller, published 15 hours ago. Rick and Morty showrunner Scott Martyr recently revealed why the show's eponymous protagonists don't venture into the multiverse in season 6. Martyr explained the creative decision to steer clear of multiverse-based stories in an interview with comicbook.com. Quote, we wanted to feel like there were major ramifications from what Evil Morty did in brackets season 5 finale, and we didn't want them to magically easily be fixed, he said. Quote, but um, we felt like a cool kind of side effect of it was that it forced Rick to be with a family a little bit more, that it forced them all to have to play off each other a little bit more. Unquote. Quote, and we thought it was kind of nice that Rick's family in brackets chose each other in brackets the season 6 premiere. Unquote. Martyr added, quote, and they were all kind of dealing with each other a little bit more and didn't have to have that get out of jail free card that they could keep pulling that they normally can. So that was all fun for us. I mean, the space components, such an infinite sort of thing that this show has to offer too. That it didn't feel like it completely put us in a tiny box. Rick and Morty season 6 launches a new story. Despite Rick and Morty's current self-imposed break from the multiverse, Martyr previously promised that the sixth season will serve as the launchpad for the adult animated sci-fi sitcom's next big storytelling phase. Show will run to describe season 6, episode 1, uh, Solar um, as the start of the second half of a larger story. Quote unquote. Martyr also noted that the sheer scale of Rick and Morty's fifth season finale, quote, Rick, Rick Marai Jack, okay, um, set a high bar for the sixth season to follow. Regardless of where the overarching Rick and Morty narrative is headed, fans can count on Evil Morty to return before it's all over. Show's co-creator Dan Harmon confirmed in a recent interview the fan favorite villain will be back at some point in the future. Quote, you will definitely be seeing the bracket Evil Morty again. I caution that we may not be seeing him soon. He's an easy guy to forget about because he kind of took care of himself. He just wanted to get beyond a central finite curve, unquote. Um, Rick and Morty season 6 is back on the air after a recent 6-week hiatus. New episodes arriving on Adult Swim on Sundays. So there we go with that one. All right. So, anyways, now we got one last article to go over before we start to wind things down a bit here. All right. So, this will be our last article we'll cover tonight. Exclusive. Vault announces 5 new titles from Moretti, Seeley, and Kambadai. CDR can exclusively reveal 5 new titles by Tim Seeley, Michael Moretti, George Kambadai, and more that Vault Comics will put out in early 2023. Article by Bren Schwer, published 12 hours ago. CBR can exclusively reveal 5 new series Vault Comics will put out in 2023. Vault Comics has announced the titles and the creative teams for 5 new series launching in early 2023. Barbaric, Hell to Pay, leads the pack in January from Michael Moretti and Nathan Gooden. Not only will the new title continue the adventures of Shorin, Owen, and Axe, but it will also pave the way to Vault's quote-unquote Year of the Axe, a year-long event further expanding on the world of Barbaric with more one-shot spin-offs and series. So it looks like that's going to try to build a world here. Coming in February, Godfell is written by Christopher Stabila and features art by Ben Hennessy. The series takes place in a fantasy world where God falls out of the sky, seemingly dead. The war quickly follows as different families quickly try to claim God's body parts, all while a soldier named Ramsey Boleyn simply tries to make her way home before getting caught up in everyone's panic. Following in March is The Nasty. Comes from writer John Lee and artist George Combati. The Nasty joins a teenager named Thumper Connell as he and his imaginary friend discover a lost quote-unquote video nasty, a term which became widely recognized in the 1980s and refers to uncensored, low-budget horror films, which bypassed being reviewed by the British Board of Film Classification and oftentimes had to be discreetly distributed in rental stores. Basically, you had to go to the back to get them. They go to the back of the store to get them. Or the person and then washing or what have you. Also in March comes Songs for the Dead, Afterlife from Andrea Ford, MC Haran, and MJ Erickson, um, which follows a necromancer named Bethany as she embarks on a dangerous adventure. Lastly, Money Shot comes again, launches in April from Tim Keeley and Giselle uh, Lagasse. Following Keeley and Sarah Patty's Money Shot, which was published by Vault Comics in 2020, the new series brings the Triple X Explorers, Triple X Explorers, back for a new story which involves space jellyfish, dumb billionaires, and more. Read the full solicitation below for the 5 new Vault comic series. Barbaric, Hell to Pay #1, coming out January 2023. Writer Michael Moretti, artist Nathan Gooden, colorist Addison Duke, Jim Campbell on the lettering, with Tim Daniel on the designing. Synopsis: Barbaric is back and headed straight to hell in an all-new arc, so big and bloody it's getting an extra issue. While Owen teams a dragon with an old friend, Soren and Theo, cross paths with someone else from our cursed barbarian past, who isn't looking nearly as friendly. Hell has no fury like a woman stabbed to the heart by an ugly sleeping orc. Okay. Oh wait, who's carrying axe? There's the barbaric. Here's the Godfell. Godfell #1, February 2023. Writer Christopher Sabella, artist Ben Hennessy, colorist Fiona Farrell and Vittorio Stone, and Campbell doing the lettering. Synopsis: One sunny day in the land of Carathin, God falls dead in the sky. The impact sends out shockwaves that draw in royal families at war, shadowy creatures of the dark, and armies of the dispossessed, all coming to lay claim to parts of God's body. Into his power struggle wanders Ramsey Into this power show wanders Namzi Valine, a soldier and berserker trying to get home from a year-long war. Forced to fight her way through the strange landscape in and on God's corpse, okay, from the soles of its feet um, to the top of its head. Namzi um, will acquire a mysterious traveling companion on her own pilgrimage. The Nasty, number one, March 2023. Writer John Lee. George Kambadai art. Lettering by Jim Campbell. Designer um, Jim Campbell did the lettering. The designing was done by Tim Daniel. Cover A, George Kambadai. Will be Sally Centrino. Hey, Rick. Thanks for popping in, my friend. Um, Year-old Thumper Connell still has an imaginary friend, the masked killer from his favorite slasher film. Thumper is obsessed with horror, always has been. He fills his time with scary VHS rentals and hanging out with his fellow fans, the Murder Club. Okay, that's an interesting group. I think an interesting group. But everything changes when his local video shop acquiesces, um, acquires one of the notorious films known as video nasties, quote unquote. Films so scary they're the target of the British Moral Decency League's crusade to ban and burn. But it's only a movie, right? It's all just imaginary, isn't it? A story about the perception of evil, the power of genre, the love of fandom, the need to create art, oh, and crap your pants terror. Okay? Uh, and really. Songs of the Dead Afterlife, March 2023. Um, Writer Andrea Fordham Haran, artist MJ Erickson, colorist Addison Duke, lettering done by And World, cover by MJ Erickson, designer Tim Daniel. Synopsis. Bethany is a necromancer and a hero. Along with her companions, Elisar and Jonas, she has finally found the ruined covenant. Her perilous journey has brought her to the best bastion of necromancers, but resurging prejudices have them in shambles. Um, can Bethany unite them in the face of escalating tensions, or will the coming war shatter all of her dreams for a peaceful future? Money Shot comes again, number one, April 2023, written by Tim Seeley, with Giselle Lagasse on art, Carlos Badilla Z doing the coloring, Crank doing the lettering, and Daniel designing. Cover A by Giselle Lagasse, cover B by Tim Seeley and Tim Daniel. Again, synopsis. The civil explorers are back and on their hands and knees for the good of humanity. When the giant behind space jellyfish who run the ordered universe arrive on Earth. The porn stars sleep. Science explorers must put away gadgets or grudges, crushes, and side hustles to once again take one or two or three for the team. Okay. Begins an epic new arc, um, which takes aim at dumb billionaires and bad optics and gets started a legendary underground comic heroine. New artist Giselle Agasse puts her sexy spin on the book. Sounds like a triple X comic, doesn't it? Anyway, so we're done with all the articles. Um, you have so we'll move on to the wrestling roundup here, as it were. So first off, getting into the WWE. Okay, so anyways, so first off, going through some WWE news. This Saturday, of course, is this year's Survivor Series. And Triple H has decided to introduce the War Games concept on the main brand here. Now, for those of you who may not remember it, War Games was originally created by Dusty Rhodes back in the late 80s for Jim Crockett production. You'd have teams of five get into a double steel cage, and what you'd do is you'd start out with a member of each team going at it. And then at interval, you know, depending on who, of course, won the coin toss would have you, you'd have a member of each team alternating coming in. So you have team A, you have the two guys start team A, team B, let's say team A with the what won the coin toss. So you have a strong one, at intervals, and then 2-2, 3-2, 3, so on and so forth until all 10 individuals were in the steel cage. Now, now you could not. First off, you could not win the match until all 10 participants were in the cage. All five members from each team had to be in the cage before you could actually go for the win. The only way to win the War Games match would be to make your opponent either submit or surrender. No pinfalls, no count out, no disqualification. Submit or surrender was the only way you could win, but the only way you get to that point is once you had all 10 participants in the game. So now on the men's War Games, thus far you have on one side um, the head of the table, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with the Uso brothers, um, Nicola, and honorary Uso Sami Zayn, taking on Drew McIntyre, the battling brute, so Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and one other guy, I can't remember the other guy's name, unfortunately, the one single guy, and then Kevin Owens. Then on the women's side, women's War Games minute, the heel team is all fully stocked already, and you have damage control of Bailey, um, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, and they'll be teaming up with Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley to take on the team of Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Um, yeah, Yim, and there's still one spot to be filled. So that's what's heading into this weekend survival series, among other things. Also, this past weekend we had two big events going on. On Saturday, of course, we had AEW Full Gear with a number of titles and um, let's see, MJF would defeat John Moxley for the AEW World Championship. The World AEW World Tag Team Championships were retained by the over Corbin Strickland, Swerve and Our Glory, as it would seem that Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee might be pairing the split. Um, in the trios title, um, Death Triangle would retain as Pac would finally get the Lucha Brothers to turn heel. Um, I haven't already seen it. Get Kenny Omega. Now this now has been changed into a series, best of seven series. So Death Triangle is taking the first match of the series. Um, Now I don't know if that generally means, of course, if you know, final count of the series is coming through. In other words, I don't know if throughout if the elite happen to win matches in between, if they'll count as a title, or if they're going to see that the final part of the series. So we'll have to wait to see on that. Let me see. Samoa Joe had won the TNT Championship in a triple threat match, in a three-way match with Carl Cobb and former champion Wardlow, getting the victory on by locking in the Katina clutch on a unconscious Carl Cobb to further the feud between Joe and Wardlow. Also, Jamie Hayter defeated Tony Storm in the match for the AEW interim women's championship with the help of Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel. Um, Apparently, Jamie Hayter can't do the job on her own. Let's see. Jade Cargill retained the CBS championship over Mara Road. And on some of the other matches, Saraya did beat Dr. Britt Baker. Um, Starting off the night, Jungle Boy Jack Perry defeated Luchasaurus via submission in a steel cage. On the pre-show, had a strong style classic between Eddie Kingston and Jun Akiyama, in which Kingston won. Naka saw advancing to the finals of the AEW Eliminator match, after Ricky Starks defeating Brian Cage, which sets up a match with Ethan Page this one day on Dynamite for the finals for that. Um, and on last Friday, Impact Wrestling had an Overdrive pay-per-view in which Josh Alexander successfully defended the Impact World title against Frankie Kazarian. Um, Ethan Rhino, all the titles were successfully defended. Ethan Rhino defeated major players of Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. Um, a new X Division champion was crowned. Trey Miguel did defeat um, Black Corus in the finals for the X Division title, as of course Frankie Kazarian had exercised option C to get his shot at Josh Alexander. Um, Anyway, um, but as I was saying though, so yeah, so Keegan Rhino retained the Impact World Tag Team Champion, um, New X Division Champion crown. In the Knockout division, of course, Jordan Grace retained the Knockout Championship over Masha Slamovich in the last woman standing match. Um, and some very violent um, aspects of the match going on there. Also, also the impact not the knockout tag champions, the Death Dolls, Maya Valkyrie and Jessica, retained over Savannah Evans and Tasha Steele. Um, and of course, Bully Ray would defeat Moose in a tables match. And later in the night, would call a shot. Would finally call a shot later in the night, and he did follow through on what he said. He would tell him. He told Josh Alexander that he would see him coming. He would be straight up. He would shake his hand. Of course, what he didn't say was what he would do after Josh accepted the challenge, and and probably considered one of the biggest swerves in really wrestling right now. Uh, Bully Ray just did a full 180 and went total heel. Just attacked Josh Alexander from behind. Afterwards, even attacked Alexander's wife, Jen, the former wrestler known as Jade. Um, it was quite a moment to watch. Anyways, that's all I got for you on the wrestling roundup here. Um, anyway, so now it's time to start winding things down as we will go ahead and start. So today being Monday, November 21st, 2022, let's go ahead and take a look back this day in Meets history. History! So now that let's go ahead and get started here on this day in Meets history. First off, I head back 80 years ago today, as on this date, 80 years ago today, Warner Brothers would release the Bob Clampett directed short, The Tale of Two Kitties, on this date back in 1940. On this date back in 1942, 80 years ago today, A Tale of Two Kitties from Warner Brothers would be released on this date back in 1942. Would feature the debut of Tweety to the Warner Brothers universe. So on this date back in 1942, 80 years ago today, Tale of Two Kitties with the debut of Tweety would premiere on this date back in 1942. And also, um, moving on to the next piece of niche history as we go back 70 years ago today. So all three history stuff are pre 2000 this time. So all the stuff we have are pre 2000. So I'm sure a lot of you might be happy about that. Anyways, on this date, 70 years ago today, back in 1952, the fifth and final issue of Strange Suspense Stories, Fawcett Comics, went on sale on this date back in 1952. It sold for 10 cents for 32 pages. On this date back in 1952, the fifth and final issue of Strange Suspense Stories from Pocket Comics on sale on this date back in 1952. And finally, in 1992, in 1992, This date in 1992, the Tokyo Kids produced Black Lion would premiere in Japanese theaters on this date back in 1992. 30 years ago today, I believe it was the Tokyo Kids OVA, I believe. Black Lion would premiere on this date back in 1992. Let me just see real quick. Yeah, OVA release. So on this date back in 1992, um, the Tokyo Kids produced OVA Black Lion would premiere on this date back in 1992. All right. So, anyways, guys, a programming note this week, as I mentioned on Friday. This week we're only doing 3 shows. We're just going through Wednesday. We'll be taking Thanksgiving night and Friday off this week, so no historical comic retrospect. We'll be back to full schedule next week. I hope everybody will come back tomorrow night for more niche news. Niche news. Um, Anyways, with that, guys, I thank you all for being here. I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.